RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. The answer to your question is learn the goddamn process, trade your trading plans, don't take too much risk on any one trade, and just let yourself get rich. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's Daily Brief. This is our free broadcast. Let's try and maybe do 15 minutes here today. It's 5 minutes past the top of the hour. Then we'll pop on over and hang out a bit in the after party. And actually, we have a special treat. We're going to talk a little Solana with Chris, our show director producer, who's super excited about Solana. Actually, pullbacks are buying opportunities. That's, I think, probably a pretty good way to describe this market state. And if anything, really, really good lesson right now. And don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. You stupid idiots, stop chasing markets. Anyway, most of the public, of course, can't refrain from chasing, and they end up, handing gobs of money to the market, but hopefully we can somehow teach you to have some patience and discipline and work orders in buying zones and buying orders and work selling orders in selling zones. Seeing a lot of selling zones right now. Anyway, slow and steady wins the race, as I always like to tell people. Today is Friday. It is an options expiry day. I had somebody correct me this morning. They said technically today is not the Ides of March. So, what day is the Ides of March? That's kind of a waste of time here. The Ides of March, Friday, March 15th. Okay, well, this says it. Corresponding to 15th of March on the Gregorian calendar. Are we using the Gregorian calendar? I'm using a calendar from the drugstore that I just bought. Anyway. Okay, so the point here is, good old Julius Caesar. This is often a very tricky time for the humans. We have the celestial we transition from spring to or I guess winter to spring. What is it? I guess the equinox, is that it? Yeah. That often screws with people's brains. Of course, we got tax season coming up here, so people are probably going to start thinking about, oh my god, I gotta find money to pay the tax man, all that kind of talk. A lot of course, we had Cole on recently talking about big celestial events coming up here. A lot of people talking about celestial events. These eclipses are coming up, from what I understand. This solar eclipse is supposed to literally move right across the North America. Also, too, actually, I was reading a really interesting article on trading solar eclipses with W.D. Gann, and how he likes to use the 90-degree angles on the calendar. So think of 1/4 of a year as a 90-degree calendar. And looking for pivots there. And I noticed, actually, it was kind of an interesting observation, that, there was our eclipse, and then 90 days later, or basically not 90 days, that 90-degree angle. What a surprise. The pivot in the market came right through the end of the year, right? Which is almost exactly that. Well, I don't know whether it was exactly 90 days. That's close. But anyway, beginning of January, so the end of October, beginning sort of week or two of January, had a nice little pivot that I think actually marks sort of the halfway point of this move. I still think that we're going to push a bit higher here. And as I said, I think that a lot of what's going on in the market today has more to do with the options expiry. Keep in mind, a lot of people buy March options. It's a very popular month for options. And I see a lot of sort of finagling in the marketplace all around these these options expiry dates. So not a big surprise. We're seeing a bit of a pullback here. If we do follow, and I don't know whether this is a good roadmap or not to use, but I do like the idea. That's, I'm really surprised. I'm not quite sure why this happens, but I put these vertical lines on the Eclipse window, and then all of a sudden they just disappear. I'm not quite sure why. So maybe I'll hit refresh and they'll come back. Who knows? Anyway, the point being, we are coming up to one relatively soon here. There we go. Hey, it came back. And you look at the market. Oh boy. Do we have trade location coming into 2.618 AB equals CDs? I think we're getting close. I don't know whether we're exactly there just yet. You look at the indicators. Is Willie stupidly overbought? Most definitely so. So, coming in and buying here is probably not a good idea. Do we have divergence in our momentum indicator suggesting that maybe price isn't as strong as you think it is? Actually, there is a divergence working there on MACD. And it would confirm 80. This is the number I'm looking at right here. We want the lowest number, whatever that is, 48.12, it looks like. And our low here today, 41. Oh, yesterday's low is 48.09. So that actually is lower than that 48.12. So we do have a confirmed divergence. The question here also too interesting. You can see the volume bars. The green bars, basically represent the buying pressure, and the red bars represent the selling pressure. And you can see the buying pressure is getting less and less and less. And hey, where the hell are the bulls? I think you could actually make the argument. Let's see. 10.26 million here, 10.06. That is an M. So if we got a bar lower than this bar right here, 4.299 million, that means that the bulls officially have fallen asleep. And oh, look at this, 3.9 million. We did get a bar. And then keep in mind, this is on a weekly basis. So it looks to me like the buyers are kind of going on strike. Yeah, I mean, they're back here, but they're not nearly as active as they used to be. And you can see, look at the sellers, very weak, stronger. Uh-oh. So the sellers are starting to ramp up here. I don't know whether we're at the top. I think this is more to do with options expiry, but heading into this coming week, oh boy, if we got I guess this month, we've got a whole bunch of stuff coming down the pike here that could very easily mark a pivot. On our Bitcoin chart, of course, I think we have them all outlined. We've got, actually, this doesn't even have it on. I thought I had it on here. Yeah, this one might show it. Hey, there we go. So we've got FOMC coming up here. Oh boy. We've got I think it goes first lunar eclipse and then solar eclipse. I can't remember. It's one or the other. Anyway, eclipse window. Dun, dun, dun. And then, of course, we got the good old Bitcoin halving event coming up here. And what I did notice when I was looking online, that this date seems to be floating around. It's kind of a floating date. I think I saw earlier today when I looked there saying it's going to happen on the 20th. It's going to happen somewhere in here. But if we just use this 19th is what we previously had, then the 15-16 cycle peak, market topped about a month or so ahead of that event, which would put it somewhere here. And I kind of like that thinking, because I think what happens here is the market rallies up into that first eclipse, then dumps. And in the stock market, I think everybody's going to get lulled into that's the top. Then I think we go up and take out that high one more time in the stock market. I don't know whether Bitcoin and crypto can rally to new highs. We'll see. And according to this kind of thinking, no. But in the stock market, I could very easily see that would be sort of this kind of conversation. In fact, actually, yeah. I'm jumping all over the place here. Anyway, we'll just finish off with this. And then, on the other side of that second eclipse window, and that was kind of like what happened here. Although I don't actually know. Interesting. So in the stock market, we might actually have this thing break off the first eclipse. I think it was Bitcoin. It just on the second event, it just took off like a rocket here. But maybe that was this first one as well. Anyway, So the point here is through that eclipse window, Bitcoin got the green light to rally. And I noticed we have come an awful long way. And here we are, we're coming into that eclipse window. And I've been barking about this for a while. So I don't think anybody should be like, oh, this is a surprise. I wonder what the heck he's talking about there. I mean, I've been barking about this for weeks now. What's interesting too is, now we actually have like the potential for a shooting star here. That would be a very typical way for Bitcoin to finish its moves. You can see it likes to put in these sort of shooting stars at the end of these moves. So we'll see. Only time will tell. This is going to represent a whole bunch of trap bulls. I mean, you all saw how the public was acting there over the past week or two. Bitcoin's just going to go straight up and never stop coming down, all that kind of stuff. Michael Saylor, this is his sweet spot. Everybody thinks he's a guru through these kind of market states. I still am very skeptical. My hunch is that this was nothing more than them ramping the market up into this big fundamental event, and then once we're on the other side of the fundamental event, my question would be, what's the fundamental driver following this event? And really, there's nothing over here. Probably what we have to do is we'll change the conversation and start, coming up with, oh well, it's the Bitcoin ETF. No, we've already done Bitcoin. It's the Ethereum ETF. That's what's driving this market. All that kind of stuff. So anyway, you shake it, this next month or two, it should be a bit challenging. I think I've talked to you guys about this before. I do really like this kind of thinking where, and I've seen this just time and time again, where old reload short zones, if the market can blow through them, then what you find is, of course, after the euphoria sort of dies down, they actually act as support going forward. So we also know, of course, there's Colin and his buddies at the 38.2 first stop target, good old Ray Burchett. And this is Colin, he likes to call this his pump chaser zone. And if anything, this is totally down his wheelhouse, because our rule at TRI, of course, is don't chase, don't chase, don't chase. But if you wanted to do things like focus in on tags of moving averages as buying opportunities, that this is why I like using this 13 EMA so much, is because you can see at these levels represents excellent opportunity to get in. And I think our general consensus is pullbacks into support are buying opportunities. So the question is, can you set yourself up? We could, and the scary thing here now, and somebody mark my words, right? The scary thing now, you could very easily wake up and see Bitcoin down $10,000 a coin in one day. And of course, it'll be those days that the Warren Buffetts of the world come out and go, oh, it's rat poison, right? But they're only looking at that one day's price performance, and they're not putting the whole move into context. Ironically enough, we get that dump into support, and my hunch is TRIers are going to be getting a lot of fills. And Adam over there, right? Adam says, I see a lot of shark setups on weeklies. I mean, I don't know whether we have to go all the way back down to 78.6s. Probably not so much on Bitcoin, but probably on things like the shalt coins. And actually, Adam, maybe pop on over and hang out with Chris afterward when we go through the Solana names. My hunch is on a lot of these Solana names, especially all these. I still don't quite understand this whole, and I don't even think I even have it right, but the meme coins and them wearing hats and stuff. Obviously, that's some sort of Reddit thing or something. And of course, old man Beamish, get off my lawn. I'm not with the cool kids. So anyway, I did bang out some nice wins on the Pepe though. That was fun. And of course, Dog Money and Sheeb and all those. So. And as Adam points out there, and actually what's interesting is watching the altcoin space, you can see it's bleeding out pretty hard. If you chase this market, you're gonna, unfortunately, this is what bleeding out, and the people who chase what their lives are gonna look like. This could be pretty nasty, and because these percentage moves are so big, you let's put it this way. It's a terrible thing to say, but it is a brutal reality of this stupid fucking human experience. But my hunch is that this market ultimately bottoms when we actually start hearing talk about things like suicide hotlines and stuff like that. All right. Well, I don't want to end the broadcast on that, but let's see if we can give you something a little bit brighter to end on. Interesting comparison, like we said, with the Bitcoin weekly chart. What once was resistance now is support. I think you're going to see the same thing in the stock market. So I put this tweet out earlier today, and it's the same thing where we have 4.669s. I think even off of this is like a 113 or something. Maybe I did it on the ES yesterday, but especially up at things like Bombs, do we have trade location? Anytime you run into a Bomb, you should probably respect that. Then you have to ask yourself, do we have things like indicator confirmation showing momentum divergence? Well, I mean, you can see I think I talked about this at length yesterday in the videos. The divergences are everywhere. Willy stupid. I mean, the reason why I built this indicator, although so many people discount it, but it sure keeps you out of trouble. All of this up here, you should have been just going, what? Maybe I want to be a crypto bull, and of course, when the indicator's down here, awesome. You want to hunt W's, go for it. Bullish divs in MACD, awesome. Bullish divs in OBV, awesome. Great, that has you buying here. But bearish divs, RSI officially overbought, Willy stupidly overbought. OBV actually rolling over and in divergence. Whenever OBV goes in divergence, you really should pay attention. And now, look at what we have happening here. What a surprise. Now you actually have big fat M's coming in on price. Usually, there's a little, like, considering it's an options expiry day today, I wouldn't be surprised on Monday they bring this thing back. And does it take a couple shakes of the stick to actually get this short on? Sometimes it does take a couple attempts. Go to Linda Bradford Rajke kind of talk. But there is an M. So Mr. ICT guy, market structure shift. So do we actually close out below here, breaking this most recent support line? If we do, notice this is all open air. I mean, look at these price gaps. And I suppose that's probably the best thing to finish this broadcast on. I think I was looking at, I don't know whether it was a stock or whether it was a futures contract. Oh yeah, it was this coin. Oh, perfect note to end on. So again, in this particular case, we did not break through the reload zone. Actually, this is a really, really good example of using trend channels. And notice the midpoint of this channel stopped that bull in its tracks. Also, too, notice 4669. And then our old buddy Brandon Rigo Mountain Man stopped this thing in its tracks. And of course, like I just said on the NASDAQ, look at what we got here. Big fat M. It's not a very pretty M, and they even left a gap up top here, but M's are M's are M's. So, this would probably be a really good example of wanting to go buy a put option and just seeing if you can ride it down to the 50% rule. Let's throw on the 50% level there. Boom. And what does that represent? That represents 2.65 to 1 risk reward. Very respectable. So I think that this is what's going on. It was interesting. Level 3ers, we were looking at the options, and the volatility here is just too high. If anything, if I wanted to do an options trade on this, like consider this an atom, and then what we'd need is for this market to sort of come back up into reload zones, then remove the volatility from the market, go sideways, and then the option premiums come back down to earth. And then we can consider an option trade. The option prices right now are just ridiculously expensive because of all this volatility. So I wouldn't be surprised if actually a top in coin looks something along these lines. But having said that, and this is why, a trader's life is a trader's life. I mean, that is an M. And if you trade M's, well, you just got to get in there and short that son of a gun there. Yesterday, and actually even the counter trend rally this morning, look where it rallied right back to the double top level and then failed. I don't think that's an accident. It was interesting, speaking of setups, I'll finish off the broadcast on this. I was actually hoping for another one of our fun little ICT setups because once again, I mean, it's remarkable how consistent this damn thing is. They did kept bouncing. They even had a nice inverted head and shoulders here. And I was like, all right, well, this looks good. I did have an order working. But it turns out that they did it on the damn Dow here today. Look at that. Absolutely textbook. So in this particular case, market starts breaking, breaks a previous market structure. Boom. There's your fair value gap. You could drive a truck through it. Notice the huge counter trend rally right back to mountain man level. And then down we go. So, goddamn ICT guy. This guy, I mean, I gotta say, this is the statistical win rate on this damn setup is pretty freaking high. So anyway, there it was. I was going to try and do it on the NASDAQ today, but I think they just left me behind. That was the extent of our counter trend rally. And they even had a nice little inverted head and shoulders. And when you actually measured the inverted head and shoulders out, it was like absolutely, it was going to come right up into my level. And I'm sure somebody looked at that and said, oh, we can't let that Beamish guy get a fill here. No way. Right? I was expecting the market to rally right back up into here, give me my fill, and, we participate. But no dice. The only trade I actually got on here today, kind of a fun little short, just hitting settlement, the run against these highs here. And so I'm short a little micro crude just for fun because it's Friday. So anyway, but that's about all I've been doing here today. But Ides of March, March options expiry. Coming into this final, we've been talking about this top now for, probably a month or two. We're finally here. And, if you did, whether you participated through the stock market and played like the coin, which was a pretty damn good trade. I mean, W's are W's are W's. That was a monster win. Or whether it be through Schultz coins, right? And you're playing these fun little things here, Doge and Shiba and all that kind of stuff. I mean, W's are W's are W's. For God's sakes, I sure hope you paid yourself for your hard efforts. And now, as Adam was pointing out there, if you really want to do anything right now in the market, you draw your reload zones. And what a surprise. I mean, you can see this massive market structure bottom and notice there's 78.6. So if I really wanted to do something right now, I think you throw your bid in here on like the dog money at about 8 cents, which is like half of what it is right now. And you just be patient and disciplined and just wait for the market to work its way back down. And that's your report. So, of course, we'll have a nice little broadcast on Sunday. If anything, I'm kind of pleased because the stupidity is now finally coming out of the market here. Of course, a lot of the public, they're going to be really crying in their beers, but this is actually if you're a professional, this is the time when you just go through all your price charts and you go, okay, there's the level, there's the level, there's the level. Let's work orders. There's the level, there's the level. And the pros actually can now start coming back and actually start thinking about, okay, well, if I'm going to buy, where should I buy? And if you want more on that, like I said, in the after party here today, we're going to talk a little bit with Chris about Solana names and other names. In fact, one of our members mentioned ACA, was it? I think you said, Chris. So we got lots of Schultz coins. Oh, there he is. Was that what it was? ACA? Yeah. Keep your eyes peeled and come on over to the after party if you want to if you want to participate in the conversation. All right. Have yourselves a great day. Slow and steady wins the race. Don't take no with nickels. Remember what your number one job is. Do you know what your number one job is here? It's to make damn sure you can come back and play the game again tomorrow. So it's these kind of markets that are going to flush out all the people who don't know what their number one job is. And really, if you blow yourself up here, I don't really have a lot of empathy for you. I mean, good Lord, the Beamish has been barking for like weeks now. Don't chase because you're going to get your head handed to you. And it's now head handed to you time. All right. Have yourselves a great day. All the best. And bye for now.